2 years ago at the Understanding Risk conference, we had a session on thinking about the unthinkable, and we entitled it Black Swans and White Whales. Are we on up there? There we go. Black swans and white whales. Black swans was a metaphor for events that we had never thought would happen. White whales was a metaphor for events that we knew were out there, but we thought were very improbable. Since that time, we have had several additional unthinkable events. The flood in Pakistan in 2010, which started in the Northwest and just kept going on and on and on until it covered the entire country. And then the following year in Japan, we had the earthquake and tsunami. The earthquake broke on 6 successive segments of a major fault, generated a massive tsunami, and that tsunami also knocked out essentially all of the emergency power response for the Fukushima plant, and all of you know what happened after that. And in all of these, in cases like this, and most recently, or recently in the tornado in Alabama, you always have somebody official saying, we never imagined it could be this bad. And those of us who are in this game know that there are people who can think about these things. So how do we get beyond this statement? And one of the things we might need is a different perspective. So rather than be on the ground, get in a hot air balloon, go up into the air, and try to take a different view. And that's what we're trying to do in this session. We're trying to look at the problem of unthinkable events. One statement I might make is that maybe there are only white swans, that there are no black swans, meaning that there are people out there who think about all of these events and can come up with some of these ideas. One example would be Popocatépetl in Mexico, which started to rumble a couple of weeks ago, and at its base is the huge city of Puebla, and not too far away is Mexico City. So this is not really a black swan. If this goes off, it could bury it. What we also need to do is start to categorize these different things and describe the different beasts that are out there as unthinkable events. And one kind of unthinkable event might be a cascade event, where you have a main event, there's a primary impact that generates secondary impacts. The Japanese earthquake would be an example of something like this, where the main event generated a lot of additional impacts. Another example would be a perfect storm event, where you have a main event which may not be that significant, but then a bunch of external factors contribute to make it an unthinkable event. And a good example of that would be the eruption of Eyjafjallajökull in Iceland, which was a relatively minor event, which happened to go into a weather pattern in Europe that then brought down the entire air transportation system of Europe. And if you think that was not a perfect storm, we had another eruption in Iceland the next year, which, if it had occurred 3 days later, would have created a repeat of the Eyjafjallajökull event of the year before. One of the ways we could get a better handle on this is to look back at history. A lot of these events have occurred before, and I don't think we look enough at the history of events that might, in fact, inform our decisions about the future. Our goal in all of this is resilience, and resilience is not finding holes where we can put our fingers, but it's to go out there and build a better dike, to build a more resistant system. And then something that's been mentioned already is the enormous cell phone penetration of countries, of continent of Africa and other places, and making full use of that. Earlier speaker talked about this. I apologize for putting a Eurocentric or an American-centric Twitter and Facebook up here. I should have put Mixit. But certainly we understand now, especially after the speaker, the potential of all of this. And there are a number of ways that technology can be used. This is an earthquake detecting program that uses Twitter that the USGS is developing, that immediately gives them an idea of the area affected by an earthquake, as well as the magnitude of an earthquake, or magnitude of the damage of an earthquake. So in order to deal with this, we have to think more boldly, plan more comprehensively, learn from the past, develop more resilience, and use modern technology. And so if we do these things, then maybe we may not be able to expect the Spanish Inquisition, but we may expect some of these unthinkable things and be able to deal with them. Thank you.